How's it going, guys? Dom here with Dom's Vlogs. Well, we all know there is some guy who remembers it so you don't have to. And no, I'm not talking about any other typical person who would say, I should remember it so at least you don't have to remember it yourself. And that's the Nostalgia Critic. Now, keep in mind, some people are not liking most of the Nostalgia Critic, but I still enjoy all that he does, and I appreciate everything he does. As a person, Doug Walker is a very nice person. I enjoy his opinions very much, and how he thinks like how much he likes the movie or how much he despises it. He really does put a classic opinion. Now, my mother says that he's an idiot. So somebody who criticizes his own opinions on movies is an idiot. There's one thing I'm gonna have to get a suggestion for the Nostalgia Critic. If he can actually do a review on Grease 2, I will share that on my Facebook page for my mother to see, because she does not like Grease 2. But we're not talking about that. Today we're talking about his top 10 best episodes. Now, keep in mind, and I'm actually gonna flip the book pages here because, I basically got a big book. Now, keep in mind for my Nostalgia Critic episodes that they're, in my opinion, based only, and also for the fact that I am going to be putting honorable mentions. But also keep in mind that I have exactly one for Christmas and one for Halloween. That's it. I'm not putting any more after that, just one per each. Well, actually, no, I actually put two, so fuck. I guess we're just going to have to do those two, because I like number 4 so much, but you'll be surprised on number 1, and I'm actually going to talk about it too. So let's not beat around the bush, and let's actually look at the top 10 best Nostalgia Critic episodes. So, coming in at number 10 is Barney's Great Adventure. Yeah, remember that pink or purple dinosaur that looks nothing more than any type of weird ass creepy dinosaur that you do not want to see in your nightmares tonight? And makes this kind of voice like, kill me. Yeah, that's Barney. I remember watching that little abomination. Although it's for little kids, I remember people despised him because of the way he looks, the way he sounds, the way he is, and the way he's fucking designed. So, between you guys who feel my pain of watching this dino dropping come into our big screens when we were when we were little kids, Nostalgia Critic has already talked about him already in his only epic dino dropping of movies, Barney's Great Adventure, which is probably his first and last movie he did. And I'm surprised that it's not just called Barney the Movie, because this is literally what it's called, Barney's Great Adventure. It is a new season. This is part of the new seasons, which is season 12, but I like to keep it like that because of that. So, for some of you who have been through this dino dropping and want to literally kill it with fire, I'll tell you why. So Barney was pretty much some type of childhood icon, kind of like we knew Dora, we knew Sesame Street, we even knew the Muppets. So, it's surprising enough that this is for, little kids. 1 to 5, to say the least. And I was at that age range. So, for me, the reason why I hate this, pink abomination is the way he looks, the way he acts, and the way of everything else. On top of that, the movie puts out so many flaws. Why would Barney need a movie? That's my only question. Why would Barney need a movie? It's not an insulting movie, but it's also not a good movie either. Oh, good lord. It's abysmal. And the songs, don't get me started on the songs. I can't even, not even, the classic, I love you, you love me. It's just an abomination that should die in a ball of fire. And Critic has done that very well. Now, have you known that he also did this on his Father's Day here? So he actually put his dad for I think two scenes in the video. And hey, at least he got his comeuppance by his own father, which was very funny. I actually do enjoy that. I mean, he got kneed in the crotch by his own old man. And the class, he says he's the nostalgia critic, and he's gonna remember that. So yeah, the reason why that's low on the list is because, well, it's Barney's Great Adventure. It's not gonna be remembered anytime soon, thank Christ. So coming in at number 9 is the top 11 Stephen King movies. Now I really do, like I said again, this is like 2 Halloween ones, so I had to at least put 2 on. I apologize. I wanted to keep my rule for 1, but I actually forgot that I had 2 on there. So coming up at number 9 is the top 11 Stephen King movies. I actually did enjoy. I really did enjoy it. I mean, it showed the 11 of the greatest Stephen King movies of all time. I mean, it had The Shawshank Redemption. There was It. There was Carrie. There was The Shining. Misery. Like, and even Creepshow. It was surprising. It was amazing. I even like his opinions on them. How much he likes these movies and how there's nothing different about them. I mean, I love Stephen King's work in movies when it's done right. And that includes Pet Sematary. I mean, now with the new one coming out, which I hope is a really good change in pace. Kind of like any other remake, except let's just hope it's not terrible. I mean, even the It remake was actually better than the original, to be honest, but I always think that the original It Clown had more personality than the other one, but that's just my personal preference. But I did love his top 11 list. I love the way he reacted to it. Hell, I love the Nostalgia Critic shot glasses. I mean, literally, if he ever, like, puts this on sale, like either Amazon or eBay, I definitely want to pick those up. Just so I can, like, have a couple of shots if I'm ever going crazy on something that I absolutely hate. And on top of that, I love the Nostalgia Critic. I love Dog Walker so much. So yeah, that's why it's number 9 on the list. I mean, it's Stephen King, so that's what you expect. So coming in at number 8 is Master of Disguise. Oh boy. I feel bad for Dana Carvey. Yeah, as far as I know, this had to be one of the biggest failures in comedy I've ever seen Doug review. Especially me seeing it, because I've never seen... I mean, I've seen comedy, but I've only seen slapstick comedy, when they hit each other. When it's just regular adult comedy of, like, the early 2000s, I think, because this came out, I think, in the early 2000s. I mean, this movie was horrendous. It's the worst comedy ever. How do I know this? As far as I know, as I looked up on Google, Rotten Tomatoes had gave this a 1% rating. 1%. It is one of the worst comedies ever that people have been talking about, and I swear to God, I feel bad for Doug to even, like, review this abomination. I feel bad for him reviewing this type of abomination. I mean, he really roasted this movie, and I was proud of it, because it was that bad of a movie. On top of that, this was the last time Rachel was in a quote-unquote video of the Nostalgia Critic, because in the kind of like thing is that she moved, I think, I don't know where out of Chicago, because Doug does live in Chicago, but definitely moved out just to, I think it's like a school or something that she's living in. She is living a pretty normal life. The last time she returned was the Nutcracker in 3D, and oh god, that movie was bad. But yeah, she had a couple of liners here, like making her feel kind of like a psychopath, so to speak, just because it was her birthday. I did not like the fart joke one. This is why this is kind of low on the list. I never liked the character, the fart joke. Although it's like, it's kind of like one of those types of jokes that goes here and there. That's kind of like how it is. I'd never been a big fan of fart jokes. They're just so bad. But yeah, Master of Disguise is definitely on that list, and I call him the best for me because I've watched it too many times. I've seen a lot of reactions over it. Alright, so coming in at number 7, and this might be hatred for some of you people who actually like this movie. For me, I've never watched both this remake and also the original that Disney have created. Coming in at number 7 is Mary Poppins Returns. Now, I've seen Doug's review on Mary Poppins Returns. I've seen it, and I'm going to tell you right now, stop it. I literally have to say that. Just stop it. Mary Poppins Returns, I'll give it a fair benefit of the doubt that the actors had a really good director. I'll be honest. The director was so amazing of actually keeping their emotions in check, and even the way that they actually act like the other characters, like characters from like the old days before television was invented. On top of that, I forgot who played Mary Poppins, if you could put that in the comments below, but she played a really decent Mary Poppins. Although her smile looks like she's about to stab me in the throat. Yeah. But even I think that's the reason why it was so impressive, is because of the visuals, the original hand-drawn animation, and also the returning of a classic character, when really it's not really that much, because Mary Poppins, the original, pretty much didn't need a bad guy. It didn't need no big bad banker and stuff. It just needed like a kind of like visual thing about growing up as an adult, but also becoming a child. And I really do appreciate the original for trying that. Yes, it was in the 60s, when phones weren't even invented. I mean, here's the thing. During my time, I never used a phone. Hell, I don't think my family's ever used cell phones now back then. You know, when I was born. So that's not even an argument. On top of that, I did enjoy the fact that Doug did try to put a message across to, like, how you can't be so lazy with Mary Poppins, because the script, I hated the script. I hate the script so much. Just, Disney, stop these remakes. I'm just going to tell you right now, if you don't want to lose your last footing with your original people that you used to like, stop these remakes. Just stop them right now. Turn the volume down. Stop it. That's all I'm going to say. Just stop. If you keep going with this, then I can't help you anymore, Disney. Because you already are done with me already. You give me too many choices for you. I mean, a lot of people had negative feedback over this. I mean, I looked at one reaction that he just hated because it was like, what? His personal opinion that it was a decent movie, or because it was trying to get the message across of shoving it down his throat. Doug never shoves a message down on the throat. He keeps it a positive manner here. What would you want? What would you want? A freaking, like, cat that basically has pop culture references? A dog kissing a man kissing a dog's ass? Would you want that in a movie? That's not what I want. I want a decent movie that has a good story and at least pretty good and interesting characters. Especially it has to be interesting, not boring. And that's what I think Mary Poppins is. It's so lazy in the script. I can't even watch it on Netflix. It's on Netflix right now. You guys can check it out, but I ain't. So. But speaking of Disney, which this time we're talking about something positive with Disney, is the top 11 Disney villains. And that comes in at number 6 on our countdown. So Doug back then in season 1 did a top 11 list on the nastiest, baddest Disney villains of all time. And why top 11? He likes to go one step beyond. And that's what made it so good to put it on the list. I adore the Disney villains. There are some good Disney villains out there. I mean, they're on his list. I'm not even going to tell their names, especially number 1 on his list. You just go check it out yourself. It is a very nice countdown here. And I do like the way he actually, I just like the way how he, reacts to some of these villains. I mean, not scared, but mostly how bad they are. And I actually do enjoy why he likes how bad they are. Some of them sing songs, others don't. And that's what makes them so good. Now let's go to number 5, which I had to dub a number 5 spot for that reason only. Because these next ones are pretty good. Coming in at number 5 is Batman and Robin. Batman and Robin. Yup. This is the meme of all memes of season 1. Doug never wanted to review this movie because it was that bad. Let's think. His tie was gone. Sharp objects were removed from the room. They padded the edge of his glasses so he doesn't jab him in his throat. As far as I know, he created the biggest meme, which was the Bat credit card. I adore that meme so much. I want it back in modern Nostalgia Critic. I don't care about what the other critics say about this Bat credit card meme. It is the best meme of all time the Nostalgia Critic has ever produced. I just love it so much. It is so funny. It's funny as sin. But on top of that, I mean, he reviews Batman and Robin. I mean, we all know how bad. It's the worst. It's one of the worst sequels of all time. It is nothing more than a bat bomb, so to speak. Why? Well, let's think about it here. The characters weren't fleshed out very well. These one-liners drive me absolutely insane. On top of that, the suits are just ridiculous. I'm not even going to question them here because Doug's already covered it better than even I can. Because well, let's think about it here. I'm an Asperger's guy, so I don't know much about it. And plus, let me tell you a little story. So, when I was little, when I watched this movie with my dad, and while he was knocked out, I like quietly sneaked back into my room while watching a little bit of Fairy Odd Parents' Channel Chasers, and then I had to sneak back to go back in with my dad. I had to keep going back and forth for that because that movie was the biggest flop I've ever seen in my life. I can't stand that movie so much. I found a hatred with it. Hatred. Hatred, 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 hatred. So, yeah. That's why it's bad. So Doug really did do a pretty good job with it, and I'm proud of him for doing that. On top of that, I mean, he went all out with it. So, now let's go on to the second Halloween special that he's done. Well, it's not really the second. This was his first ever one. So coming in at number 4 is the Teddy Ruxpin Halloween special. Wait, Teddy Ruxpin? That ugly, hideous abomination of a teddy bear that is now back right now? That Teddy Ruxpin where you put a cassette tape inside of it and he actually sings stuff? Oh, boy. We're really going to be talking about him, are we? Teddy Ruxpin, the really ugly teddy bear that nobody wanted to buy because it was that hideous of a teddy bear. I mean, I had stuffed animals that were excuses for being ugly, but Teddy Ruxpin takes the big cake. On top of that, Doug made this Halloween special because it's that scary. I mean, he made it pretty scary, to be honest. I mean, Teddy Ruxpin was the scary scenes, the scary hallways, the way that he took a damn baseball bat. It's funny, too, because I really do like the faces that Doug makes with this thing. Because Teddy Ruxpin just standing there saying all these things is what makes it so creepy. And also, he's been going through cameo after cameo. But after the Teddy Ruxpin series that Doug talked about, I think, like a couple of years back, now he's not talking anymore about that damn thing. Maybe it's for the best, maybe it's not. I don't know. You tell me in the comments below. Should he talk more about this damn abomination? Should it bring back another cameo of this thing? Or should it just stay into the depths of hell? So now we're going on to the Christmas specials, which is the Christmas specials of the Nostalgia Critic. So, his first one is the top 12 greatest Christmas specials. Now, this is him just talking about 12 of the greatest Christmas specials he has ever watched. Reason why number 12? Because Christmas. Now, normally I would not break my Christmas code and talk about Christmas specials, but since this is a top 10 Nostalgia Critic episodes, I have to talk about it. So, he's pretty much talked about probably the greatest Christmas specials you can even think of. Like, I can't even think of any on the top of my head right now because I hadn't watched this long than I have to, so I'm gonna have to leave it up to you guys. On top of that, too, I only watched that during the end of November, beginning of December. That's kind of it. And it's nice for him to actually talk about some Christmas specials. And I like the way he talks about them. I like how he loves Christmas. I mean, Christmas is like one of the best times of the year. And that's what I liked about it. I'm pretty much, I'm a Christmas-like guy. I enjoy Christmas so much. I love hanging the decorations on the trees. I love the green and red. I love the Holly Jolly Santa Claus. I love the consumer value of it. Although it's gotten a little bit of a push over the edge nowadays, you cannot doubt it for being one of the best holidays, actually the best holiday of all time, in my opinion. But my opinion's better than yours since I have a YouTube channel. So let's go on to number 2, shall we? So number 2 is the top 11 fuck-ups. Yeah, I said F-up in my thing, but come on, let's think about it here. Top 11 Nostalgia Critic fuck-ups. This is his first one, and it was on a season 2. Now, the reason why I put this thing on there is because of one thing only, is that Nostalgia Critic makes mistakes. He is not perfect. He's not perfect, but he does make mistakes. And even, I like how people actually talk about the mistakes he's had. Hey, I even said it myself about the Pazuzu on Exorcist 2, The Heretic. Pazuzu is an actual, I think, demon, so it actually exists in the Exorcist lore, kind of like the Gemini killers in Exorcist 3. But also, the best part about this episode was Douchey Nick Nitpick. I swear to God, he is the most stereotypical YouTube kind of person and criticizer of critics and any other media I have ever seen in the world. I enjoy this guy. I even enjoy his voices. Somehow, I don't know if I'm ever going to have characters that are actually going to be reoccurring sooner or later, but I'll tell you, when they come, they will come. Especially that. And I like how he actually makes, like, a really good assumption. I like how he actually he actually destroys Douchey, like, he literally shoots the ass out of him. Although it's off-screen, because, it's the two perspectives of two different characters, you could not deny that that was a very fun, entertaining episode to enjoy with everybody else. Now, I want you guys to listen to this number 1 spot, and I'm going to tell you a very important thing only because this is my opinion, his opinion, and probably anybody who agrees with me with this number 1 spot, even though I barely watch this episode anymore, it's still, I think, in my opinion, the best one, because he puts heart into that to say what it is. Rage comments, I hope there's no rage comments. So coming in at number 1 is Pearl Harbor. Okay. Pearl Harbor was one of the biggest things in World War II that got us Americans to fight in the Second World War. It was exceptionally crazy. This was basically the time when, this was before D-Day, let's say. I mean, people dead and they didn't come back. And what does this movie bring? Let's see, a guy brushing his teeth in the morning when a ship gets under attack by Japanese soldiers. Characters that we barely even know for, like, what? No scenes? Couple of scenes? And also a soldier, a sailor that cannot swim, using cheat sheets to get into the damn military. Hell, Edward Theodore Gein, the original American Psycho, couldn't go to the Second World War due to his droopy eye. And that was more faithful than that. One thing is that I really do think that this is the biggest tragedy in American history that I've ever seen. From a sick person with a small, tiny mustache that raises his hand up in the air like he's actually try to give a low high five, so to speak. I don't know. But the case may be is that this movie, and you'd be surprised, it's the same guy who makes the Transformers movies, Michael fucking Bay. I cannot believe how disgusting and how permanently insulting this movie is. This movie is the most insulting movie I've ever seen. With Patch Adams, I can understand why that was insulting, but this was for a doctor, and at least it tried to do something. It did it bad, but it did try to at least do something to the Patch Adams, the actual Patch Adams, not the movie version. But this did zero on the biggest tragedy in American history, and not the most lives of American loss. Maybe, I don't know, because there's a ton of American losses out there. But this was a shitty-ass movie with shitty-ass characters and a shitty story to begin with. It's a disrespectful piece of crap. I do not enjoy this movie one bit. I do not enjoy this movie one bit. And neither did Doug. Neither did Doug. This was the insulting part of a movie here. He flat out said a lot about it. Like, say what you want about Transformers. At least it's Transformers. But when you're talking about a tragedy, you have to be serious about it. You have to be serious. I mean, let's think about it here. With some type of movies like this that talk about tragedies, I don't fuck around. Literally. These are people that risk their lives for our freedom and for everybody else's freedom, and to knock down this tragedy of a man that is Adolf Hitler, and they don't come back. 60 million lives were lost in World War II because of this. Because of this man, because he was locked away, because a Jew locked him away in prison. I can't explain it that well, because I am that angry at it. I never feel nothing. I felt disgusted at this movie. I don't know why would anybody like this movie. I can understand that people liking Batman and Robin. I can understand a lot of people liking Mary Poppins Return. It's got 78% on Rotten Tomatoes. I can understand people kind of enjoying Barney's Great Adventure. But Pearl Harbor? What sick, twisted mind, close to Michael Bay's, can get anywhere close to this damn abomination of a movie? That's why I consider it the #1 worst, well, #1 worst tragedy movie of all time, but I consider it the #1 best Nostalgia Critic episode of all time, because he had the heart for it. And he still does to this date. But again, with that being said, I mean, Doug himself still is the Nostalgia Critic. I mean, although he's old now and kind of a little bit more biased with his opinions here, he's still one of those types of guys that still have that type of adrenaline rush that I enjoy from him. I enjoy the Nostalgia Critic, and I enjoy Doug Walker. And I'm sorry that I was pretty much, well, how do I put this? Angry at you guys. So, with that being said, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, leave a like. And comment down below if you really did enjoy this top 10 list. I had to look through, like, all the episodes without even watching a single one, and I have to remember it from the top of my head on it. So, as always, guys, stay scary. I'll see you next time, and I gotta do some laundry. Whoa!
Oh, look, he fell! By accident.
And he's the Nostalgia Critic. He remembers it, so I don't fucking have to.